Now, the first step in replacing 150K per year of passive income is what I call the accumulation phase. And this is when you go out there and you buy the properties that will make you financially free in the future. Now, as you can see here, we're talking about going out and buying one single income home. Once you feel comfortable with that home, we go out there and buy a second one. And then ultimately in the future, we go out and buy a third property, which is actually a house and a granny flat or a dual income property. Now, in today's example, if we use a $600,000 purchase price for our very first property that rents for $600 per week, and then, like I said, we go and buy that second property when we can for $600K that rents for a further $600 a week. And then again, when we feel comfortable and the banks will let us and we're in a safe and secure financial position without building a house of cards, we go out there and we buy a house and either build a granny flat or we buy a house with a granny flat that's already been constructed. But if we pay $900K for that one and that one rents for $1,000 a week, then they're the three properties that we need today that will set us up for the $150,000 of income in the future. Now, if we add some of these numbers together and we go 600K plus 600K plus 900 grand, we're gonna end up with about $2.1 million worth of assets once we've completed this first accumulation phase. Now, if we do the same thing with the rent, 600 a week plus $600 a week plus $1,000 a week, ends up being about $2,200 in rent per week. Then if we times that out over 50 weeks of the year, we end up with about $110,000 per year of rental income coming in from the three houses. Now, the second step on your journey to replacing 150K per year of income is what we call consolidation, and we'll get back to that in a moment. But the third phase is what I call the freedom or the choices phase. This is when you own your properties outright and you've got a passive income for life. You can really do what it is that you love and what you enjoy for the rest of your life, whether that's traveling more, spending more time with the people you care about, doing work that you enjoy, looking after your health better, spending more time with your kids, spending more time with your family, whatever is going to fill your cup and enable you to be joyful, happy, and living your best life. So in terms of these numbers that we got to at the bottom here on the freedom phase, basically all I've done is gone, okay, we've gone out there and we've bought our three houses and we've basically done nothing except maintain and hold these properties for a 15-year period. Now, if these three properties are worth $2.1 million today and we do nothing but hold them for the next 15 years and they grow by 4.8% per annum, we're gonna end up with about $4.2 million worth of property, hopefully debt-free. Now, if we look at the rent and do the same thing, so the $110,000 coming in from the three rents from the three different houses, and we do nothing but hold them for 15 years and the rents increase by 2.5% per annum, we're gonna end up with $159,000 a year of passive income 15 years after we complete step one. So coming back to the second step or the consolidation phase, which is effectively where you pay off those properties slowly over a 15-year period, there's basically 6 things that we do. The first thing is we should all have offset accounts attached to our home loans. The way that offset accounts work is super simple. Let's say that you got $100,000 sitting in your offset account and your interest rate at the moment 6%, then basically instead of having to pay the bank interest on that $100,000 and paying them that 6K, you'll pay them 0. So offset accounts can be extremely important and a great place if you're a good saver to put your extra cash to save yourself on some interest. So definitely want to have an offset account. Now, the second thing that I do is principal and interest. Now, let's say across the three houses, we end up paying about $200 per week in principal off each of those properties. So across 3 properties, that would be $600 a week. And if we do that for 52 weeks over a period of 15 years, in principal alone, we'll have actually paid $468,000 straight off the debt. Now, the third thing that I like to do is paying a little bit extra each week. Now, when we're in step one, which is the accumulation phase, basically we're saving money for deposits, we're putting money into the properties that add value to those properties and to increase the rents. But once we move into the second phase, and we've got a little bit of extra rent left over at the end of each week. Let's say that each week across the 3 properties with your partner or on your own, you can put about $400 a week off the home loans. If we do that each year for the next 15 years, we'll have paid an extra $312K off the properties. Now, the 4th thing that I like to do as well personally is basically get all of the money from those 3 properties put into one account with all of the expenses from those 3 properties coming out of that same account. Now, what you'll notice the longer that you hold the properties during that 15-year period is the rent slowly go up over time and the debts slowly come down over time, giving you a little bit of extra rent each week. Now, let's say that passive income or that surplus extra rent ends up being about $400 a week each year over the 15-year period. We paid an extra $312,000 straight off the bottom line. Now, obviously in Australia, there's some incredible tax stuff going on. You can definitely talk to your accountant or your financial advisor about what those look like at the moment. But across 3 properties, there's a very, very good chance that there's either going to be some tax depreciation related benefits or some negative gearing benefits. If that ends up being about $100 a year over a 15-year period, instead of spending that money that you get back from the tax man, you can put it straight off the debt, which ends up being about another $78,000 that you paid off over that period of time. Now, the last thing I like to do in step 2, which is the consolidation phase, is what I call a partner property. Now, because I don't want to be working for the next 30 to 40 years paying off my 3 properties, a partner property can be a really, really good way of speeding up that journey to paying off debt faster. Now, let's say you go out there and you buy a 4th property worth $600K, and that property goes up by 4.8% per year over the next 15 years. In 15 years time, your 600 grand house is going to be worth about $1.2 million. Now, obviously, if you sell that property, there'll be the entry fees, the holding fees, the exit fees, and the tax that you've got to pay. But after you pay everybody, including the bank back, you should probably have something like $400,000 left over, which again can be used to pay off a big chunk of your own home or investment property debt that fast. Now, if we add up these 6 different things that you can do together, we end up paying about $1,570,000 off the 3 properties over a 15-year period of time. Then you can take a massive bite into that overall debt across these properties and speed up your journey towards replacing $150,000 a year much faster. Now, for those of you out there who are liking this concept or ideas like this from our YouTube channel and you're thinking of buying an investment property in the next 3 to 6 months, we'd love to offer you a one-on-one strategy session. All you have to do is jump over to www.pumpedonproperty.com, click that free strategy session button in, and then myself or my brother Simon can sit with you and talk about where you are right now, where you'd like to be longer term. We can talk about the 3 properties to financial freedom strategy and some simple other ideas that we've got. And then you can take that information with a grain of salt and go and absolutely smash it on your own, or potentially become one of the small number of clients that we work with each week. But either way, we look forward to continuing to help you build your property portfolio with confidence and achieve financial freedom.
Woo! That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Getting cool,
Spin.
bro. Yeah. Oh, sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good. That's so nice.